Third, not going here, then I don't know what you're doing. Um, they definitely, they definitely were heavy with the tailgate this past weekend and all my tailgates that I have when I do down in Tallahassee. Just doing some housekeeping stuff. I gotta give major props right now to the Till Street Hooligans and Bone City Brigade. Like Cap, Tim, Dilla, I got PJ with the seafood. I don't want to disrespect anybody by not mentioning their name. I saw Eric Dunn. Um, I'm not even gonna hold you. Them cats get down, man. I like damn. I gotta step my whole tailgate game up.
Just playing through the other mic.
Okay, those guys are like so great, so dope at what they did that it made me question: do we even party properly with my tailgates? And I had such a blast, such a good time that I can't wait till this weekend. Like, I mean, I was eating crab legs. I was eating. I was taking shots of apple pie moonshine.
I was getting beer. Like everybody approached, man. I saw a guy, one of my guy who I love. He always giving me some good encouragement. Guy named Barrett Whitty. Like I was just walking, man, and I didn't realize. I'm gonna be honest with you. Let me just put it like this. I knew y'all fuck with your boy, but the numbers don't always show that you fuck with your boy. You know what I'm saying? Like, can you please go subscribe to the fucking YouTube channel? Can you please go click a like on the YouTube channel or on the Facebook? Can you please share with a fucking friend? Can you do some other shit like to show your boy? Like, obviously, I know my sponsors love you guys, but like Miles, what I'm telling you, dog, we gotta figure out how to get you up there for this one, dog. Like, even if you just get some content and just come hang out with the fucking tailgate, like. I'm talking about everywhere I went, somebody was putting the beer in my hand, saying like I don't recognize me. How the fuck do y'all recognize me? People like big game. Hey, fuck them kids. Hey, get this beer. Hey, you want something to eat? You want this? Oh, I mean, it was great, man. I loved it, man. Everybody like, man, we miss you guys on 1010, man. Fuck 1010. And how they did y'all show. I remember you was telling us, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, hey, man, I'm with you on the fuck 1010 part. But yeah, man, it was just a great atmosphere here in the city of Jacksonville. If you couldn't make it, I hope you were here at Goodfellas Cigar Lounge, the greatest cigar lounge in the world, basically where we shoot our show every day. I need you guys to come here, drink, and smoke cigars, and go see my boy Shannon Cheeseboro get the best barbecue and seafood in the city. Cheese had this thing rocking. Both Pierre's, DJ Pierre and Saxy Pierre, our saxophonists, were out here giving the business while the Jags were being victorious on the football field. It was just a great overall time in the city, man. I haven't. It feels very much so like 2017. Chris Porter had me working all fucking weekend. Shit was crazy. It was bananas. I woke up in the morning. I had to coach my son's flag football game. I was up at 7:20. Then I coached the football game, and we tied. Our guys played like 9-year-olds. Like, that's the fucking annoying thing, right? So I coach these guys, man. Coach these little motherfuckers. I love them, though. And, I'm telling them what to do. And it's crazy because you have a coach who literally tells you exactly what's work. When you do this long enough, you lose to people that you've developed and trained, or you tied. So their best player, you know who he used to play for? Me. If you guys remember a couple years ago, we were in the championship and the kid got a pick six, and I ran up and I grabbed him, hugged him, and ran into the end zone with him. Yeah, that was the kid. he housed it on us. He's gotten good. He's gotten better. You love it. But I left that, and you know what else messed up? The sausage lady that normally be there, it wasn't there. It wasn't the same person. I refuse. I'm a loyal man. Actually, in some cases, I'm extremely loyal. I said, fuck that, man. That's not the lady that I know. I don't know what that lady. That lady didn't have the grilled onions. So I was hungry. I was famished. The day started off wrong.
I spoke to her. She's been expanding. That's why she's not there anymore. She got business down in the beach and stuff.
Oh, so but this is a new or they're the same organization?
Same organization.
Yeah, nah, I need the lady. I need the nah, man. It's like, you know what? I'm gonna tell you about another one of my bad things before I get into this. Just some housekeeping stuff. Fuck Metro Diner. I like what I like, and I want it consistent. How do you fuck up breakfast? You know how hard it is to fuck up breakfast? I ordered simple cheese grits, 4 eggs, and they gave me more sausage patties than I knew what to do with, and a biscuit. Real simple. Cheese grits were okay. The sausage patties, you know, I ain't got to do shit with that. They just slice it up and put it on the grill. Why am I eating eggshells? I don't want to. Do you know how that fucks up the whole vibe? So like I'm sitting there, and then that's not even the worst that they fucked up the food. This is why I like customer service. They just left me there. I was stranded. Like nobody came to see if my food was good. And then, you know, I was hungry in the beginning. Then I ate the eggshells, and I was like, well, nah, just give. If the lady comes, take these back. Just give me another thing of grits, and this will all be good. The lady didn't come for 30 more minutes. Well, shit, I'm hungry now. I gotta go. I don't want to be here anymore. Nobody tapped off my water. This is why I don't always tip 20%. Food, that's not your fault. That was not the waitress's fault that the food was bad. It was her fault, however, that my food was still there and that my order wasn't corrected. I still ended up paying a whole bunch of goddamn money for some shit I didn't even need. It's in my car. But anyways, though. But that's what I don't fuck with the sausage lady. But then went out there, Till Street Hooligans, Bowl City Brigade, at the slab, right on the other side of Tailgater's parking lot. Great atmosphere, great tailgate, great energy. Kicked it off with the game, did round-the-clock coverage for the Jaguars. We're going to do that again. First Coast News gives you by far the best stuff. And I was in the press box again. I haven't been in the press box since 17, I think. And I haven't seen some of those people in the press box since I almost died 2 years ago. So it was like they saw a fucking ghost. And a couple of them tried to come talk to me, but I told them I don't talk to ops. I fucks with Mia O'Brien, though. I like Mia. Mia my homie, dog. Mia, we was part of the same gang when she was with First Coast News. So I fucks with Mia. A lot of other people, I really don't fuck with y'all. I don't really like y'all. Y'all didn't hit me up. Not one person reached out to me and say, hey, man, sorry Coach Bowden died. Are you okay? Sorry you almost died. Are you okay? I just stopped work. That's just how crazy and cutthroat. Like, that's why I don't work for people. I work with people, but I don't work for people. You know how bad it is when you work with people, like in a job, and you just weren't there one day and nobody calls to check up on you? And then they see you, and then they look at you like, oh, is that nervous? I'm like, yes, bitch. I encouraged it to be uncomfortable. And I talked to like a couple people, and I'm just like, man, fuck it. I'm trying to intimidate the media members who go around here and speak that bullshit and don't give you real good analysis. And probably saying fuck you to some people that I just haven't said fuck you to. By the way, if you didn't know, I don't know if this is a loophole. Hopefully I still have the gold diamond on my press pass. It gets you fucking everywhere. I read people with your press passes read the fine print. Look at the funny little symbols and the numbers that are the things that are there. Pre-game, post-game, all this other stuff. And then I saw the diamond. I was like, what does the diamond mean? Flip that bitch over. It says access to all the suites.
Hey.
Terrace suites. So the Terrace suite is by far the best thing that the Jaguars have. I had pork belly. I had prime rib. I had hot wings. I had the best burger I've ever eaten in my life. I was so hungry that I could not do this. And then I went viral a little bit with the fan bases that when I was hungry and angry, I was hangry, the Jags played bad. But the minute that I ate that hot dog and I ate that burger, you know what the Jags did? They scored. And people were like, yo, eat like 8 burgers right now. Don't stop eating. Only eat when we're on offense. So superstitious like that. But anyway, let's get into the game. It was not the best Jaguars performance, but actually, now let's play this right here quick. Yeah, let's get some of the my guy Lions right here, Lions of Florida, who delivered us our Apple equipment, but also does some really good editing. Was out there and he took this scene right here. This is what the city looks like when you win. And I have people post, well, you support us when we win. Don't come out now because we're winning. Nope, that's not how the world works. Nobody wants to support a loser. People support winners. And when you just think about it, there's an arena football team and there was an ABA basketball team here. Guys who got paid $200 a week to play a sport that play for packed houses. You win in Jacksonville, they take care of you. Let's push this. You win in Jacksonville, this is what the city looks like. Women with no asses twerking. Rhythm. Shouting out all kinds of shit. Great. Good times. Good times we had. She was getting down. Like, I mean, just all the city wants is a winner. And that's what I've been stressing on First Coast News, stressing on all these different things. Having friends like Big John Henderson. Shout out to Uchi. Rest in peace. That win was for you, Uchi Nweri, who just recently passed. You know, the city was just so hyped and amped to be able to win that this is the way that they respond. And you can't expect people to want to invest their time, money, and resources into something that's going to not give them pleasure. That's just not how the world works, man. People want to be pleasured. And this is how, and that was pleasurable. It's almost as good as getting it. The only thing that could have probably been better is if actually kids should be in school anyway. So the only thing that would have been better is getting some head and watching this at the same time. So some of y'all probably were able to do that. Some of y'all weren't. This is as close as you can get. Some of y'all haven't been laid all year. Probably won't be laid this year either. So this is good. This gives you stuff. People like, I'm loving this for people like Bobby. Oh, shout out to Bobby Brown. I think he's comedian Bobby Brown now or whatever, but he's got a little giveaway that he's doing. If you go subscribe to his YouTube channel, you retweet his little Jaguars joke. He has 2 standing room only tickets that he's going to raffle away. Go check that out. Support that young man with what he's got going on. But yeah, all in all, the game was great. Great atmosphere. NFL games don't normally get that loud. NFL games really don't ever get that loud. And it's just getting into the breakdown of the game. Trevor Lawrence did not have his best game. The defense didn't have they had their best overall game when it mattered, but it still wasn't as good as what you would think. Like if they could put it all together, they could be so scary this playoff run. And even when I go back and I look at the box score, Trevor's performance wasn't anywhere near as bad as I thought. And Josh Dobbs actually played really, really good. Josh Dobbs was 20 for 39. He had 1 touchdown, an interception, and a forced fumble. Derrick Henry ran the ball. Like that's what they needed to do. 30 carries, over 109 yards, 3.6 yards a carry. Just moving the chains, running aggressive. Our defense just stopped them. They don't have a dynamic passing game. So you were able to stop it. Trevor Lawrence was 20 for 32, 212 yards, 1 touchdown, was sacked once. Here's the glaring inefficiency that they had that they need to correct going into the Chargers game. Is that Travis Etienne, basically we ran for a grand total of 19 yards. That is just unacceptable. You can't have that when you have key offensive guys that are really, really good statistic-wise here. You had 1 fumble that was lost so we basically, the turnover thing was good. Foye Oluokun, whatever his name is, been the greatest free agent acquisition that we've had this year. Shout out to Rayshon Cookiehead Jenkins. Tyson Campbell with the interception. guys came up when they needed to come up. Overall, again, start to finish, great game. And just like, let's just get some of the highlights that were, just from the game that, just really just like, again, one of those things where you had to be there. And this was this was the pick. The first, this is what, we were sitting there. The Jags needed some plays to happen. They were down 16-10. They ended up getting 3 points off of this and not a touchdown. But this is really where you start to see the change. Like, the defense made plays when they needed to, and that's kind of where you need. But Tyson Campbell, a guy whose knock was that he wasn't able to make plays on the ball, made a big time play on the ball right here. See, I'm getting ready to do coverage, but you can hear the roar of the crowd. It was so deafening, even outside at First Coast News, that it was just, again, great. Every time that Josh Dobbs had to be in a pressure situation where he had to throw the ball, it just literally just boded well for the Jags. So here he is. He scores a touchdown. He does what Miles Jack couldn't do. Did not put his knee on the ground. Scooped and scored. Yeet. Guys like Trayvon Walker actually had a pretty decent game. Stuff that doesn't show up in the stat column, which I hate saying because it's so cliche. And it should show up in the stat column when you're the first overall pick. I'm sorry. I don't really give a shit about that. Aiden Hutchinson's plays show up in the stat column. But he played very good setting the edge. Josh Allen, they have to get more pressure on the quarterback during this playoff run for them to be successful. I do believe that they can beat the Chargers. They've beat them before. I do believe the Chargers can be beat. I do believe, and I hope so that I can go cover it again. I'll be in Kansas City the week after anyway. So, like, it would be great to be able to kill two birds with one stone. But the key to it is, regardless of what the defense does, the Jags have just got to play better. I mean, Trevor Lawrence has got to play better offensively. And I just want to, this is the Jags. Normally, I don't, it's this phrase called punch up. Don't punch down, right? Well, the Jags punch down on this, and I'm here for it. Sometimes you need to be petty, especially for guys who went viral on TikToks and stuff like that. And I don't know who this guy is, but if you want to go find that, Miles, play that TikTok. Let's let the people hear and just see how the Jags PR team, which has gotten better, literally just roasted this young man. Yeah, that one. Because he basically picked on all of their acquisitions for the for during free agency.
The Jaguars might be one of the dumbest organizations in the entire NFL.
Oh my.
Oh, okay.
God, bro. Oh, hell no.
And today proved why they are truly a poverty franchise.
I don't even know what that means.
The Jaguars signed Christian Kirk to a 4-year, $84 million deal. I'm not even sure that Christian Kirk is a top 35 receiver in the NFL. But it doesn't stop there, though. The Jaguars also got Evan Ingram, a tight end that literally does not have hands. They also signed Zay Jones to a 3-year, $30 million deal. These are Zay Jones' career stats, by the way.
You played yourself. I'm sorry.
They overpaid maybe the worst tight end in football, an overrated slot receiver, and Zay Jones.
Yeah, he's nuts.
I mean,
the Jaguars might be.
Dude, it's it doesn't. It's looking bad in the light when you present it that way, right? And I guess it's always easy to say hindsight is 2020. I was actually not critical of Christian Kirk signing. I still think that they needed a number one wide receiver, even though Christian Kirk has clearly played very, very well. Crazy Zay has been if you go back and you look at the Chargers game earlier in this season, he was the wild card. You need him to be explosive in what he brings to the team. Travis Etienne, over 1,000 yards. Evan Ingram, over 800 yards. You don't, what the Jags have is crazy. A 4,000-yard passer, a 1,000-yard running back, a 1,000-yard receiver. Excuse me, Evan Ingram was 40 yards away. So you had a 1,000-yard receiver, an 800-yard receiver, a almost 800-yard tight end, and almost 530 yards wide receiver, with your running back getting 316 yards. Marvin Jones Jr. was the guy they brought in 2 years ago with Trevor Lawrence to be the number one wide receiver. Add Calvin Ridley to this mix, and holy shit, you actually have an offense that people might be afraid of next year. That's the wild part, is that you don't even know what the true limit is, because nobody expected this year to be that great. But you still have to go and you have to say, man, that was some hate, and that was a guy who was taking some hot takes. Probably got paid off of that Tic Tac. But now you got to come, you got to eat them. You got to eat that crow. You got to hold those L's. I love the fact that the Jags went over the top. They didn't need to, but sometimes, what's the point of having muscles if you don't flex? And my guys just flexed on that. But here's what I want to do. I want to put, it's a tweet from Juice Man 15, who took a clip from what Doug Peterson promised us. He promised the Jacksonville Jaguars out the gate and what he planned on doing with this team. And it's crazy to be able to come in to see how bad they are to be the AFC South champions.
And to our fans, listen, I know you've been through a lot. You've been through a lot, even this past season. But that's about to change. And I can promise you that I'm going to come to work every single day with the diligent task to make this a winning organization. And
he did it in year one. He did something that Urban Meyer made us think was impossible with Urban Meyer's players, which is the scary part. Imagine what happens. I've always said, when you have a competent coach, the competent coach is going to be able to bring leadership. And I think it's just a competent coach is just going to is going to make you a better team overall. Outside of that game, this was the weirdest last week of the NFL that I've seen in my life. It was a lot of wild shit that happened. Nothing more wild than what we saw last week. Or was it 2 weeks ago? No, it was this last week. And look, thank God Damar Hamlin is getting better and better every day. The first play of the first game that the Bills had against Miles' New England Patriots went for 6. It was like, it's almost like the NFL scripted this shit on purpose. Like, my guy ended up running. Like, you take a kick to the house on me, you know what I'm not going to do? I'm not kicking that shit to you anymore. But, like, it's the first link on the NFL playoffs. Yeah, so, like, just watching this, the energy, the emotion in that stadium had to be incredible. The young man, I'm loving the fact that he's recovering well and that everybody's
Cleveland, Miami, and the Jets were underway as New England decided to defer after winning the toss. And here's Hines on the run back, breaking a tackle and taking it past midfield, and down the sideline he goes. This is storybook, an opening kickoff return for Damar Hamlin, and this place is absolutely going wild.
Oh, you just said this is storybook. This is almost fate. I just can't believe what just happened. Josh Allen, the same thing. 6 days removed from this incredible
Can't believe it.
scene that we saw with the Bills player down in Cincinnati, and now.
And people get very emotional about all these different things, and rightfully so. It was great. The Bills went on ahead to win that game. I think they returned 2 kickoffs for touchdowns. The emotions of football are something that, it's hard to bottle up. And then I've seen, we saw one of the worst football games, same conference, AFC East, the Miami Dolphins versus the New York Jets. The game was won by the Dolphins 11-6. It should have been 9-6, but it was they gave him a safety at the end because the Jets were trying to do the annexation of Puerto Rico and all that other shit where you extend plays. That can we stop this, by the way? Because it hardly ever works, especially when you have to throw it back to you and your quarterback is like Joe Flacco. What the fuck is Joe Flacco? Who is he going to outrun? And like people just keep spreading people out and keep doing these different things. But a lot of weird energy going on with that. And it was a picture of my of the Jets coach and our fellow African American who everybody was talking about getting fired. But now I'm starting to come on board. As my boy Dibby says, they fired Flores last year, and he wasn't a black coach; he was a Spanish coach. And McDaniel has the same record, but he's black, so they got to treat the black guy a little bit better. But just click on the that video. We'll just go to there. In this game, the Packers versus the Lions, I saw the Packers do two things that still have me scratching my head. Number 29 on a field goal. Maybe somebody can explain what happened. Walks up and literally just tries to grab the ball. Like, walks down the line, tries to grab the ball. He gets a 15-yard penalty, and they get an easier chip shot. But no. But keep it here. And then this happens later on in the game. A player for the Lions goes down on the ground. And the player for the Packers decides that number 7 decides that he wants to stay in the way. And one of the medical staff has to come in and kind of just try to nudge him out the way so he can get to the player. And this dumbass decides to shove the fucking athletic trainer.
Wow.
15 yards, gets kicked out of the game. What is going through your mind to make you want to fight a pencil neck ass athletic trainer? Like, it was weird. It was like weirdo energy, like to see that. And everybody was just like, what the fuck are you thinking? Like, where does that come from? Why? That's all I want to know. And now Pro Football Talk Commander puts assaulting a first responder. One, let's just keep things in context here, people. It isn't a fucking firefighter. This isn't a police officer. This is a well-paid water boy. Doing his job, by the way. All right. Okay. I know, unpopular opinion. Don't give a fuck. You're not going to cancel me. Not for this. I'm not going to do the Kanye thing, but just not. This one's not. I don't think this is as hard of a take. Can we stop overreacting to shit? Last week was an incredible moment of everybody coming together, bonding. We saw this young man probably make more money in a matter of hours than his family has ever seen. We saw the Bills actually do the right thing when they could have put him on injury reserve and paid him a fraction of what his bonus is. They said that they're going to pay him the full amount of money in his contract. They're going to do right by this young man to see him get healthy. We saw the world do the right thing. Let's not overreact to everything that happens. This is not a fucking first responder like we know. This is a controlled environment, and a guy did a very, very stupid thing. Assault is like literally, I want to whoop your ass. He did not go and put paws on the motherfucker. He did shove him. He didn't slap the shit out of him. He just shoved him. And it was wrong. He got kicked out the game, rightfully so. But can we stop this shit? And then there's something else that I saw. It was 8 o'clock, and I didn't realize this. But now it's making all the rounds of social media. Guys, athletics is a highly disrespectful sport. Celebrations are meant to be what they are. When you get a sack or I score a touchdown, I am not worried about your feelings. Now, the Pittsburgh Steelers have a celebration where they do pretend to do CPR on the player who got a sack. I don't have that one up there, by the way. And now everybody's in the uproar like, oh, well, given the light of the things that have happened, do you think that this is the right thing to do? Man, fuck out of your feel. Let me tell you this. I promise you, everybody who has a pulse, who has played the game of football saw that shit. Was it Monday? It was Monday, right?
I believe so, yeah.
It had fear. It was like, whoa, what the fuck happened? Now, we've all moved on with our life. That doesn't mean we're stopping. I don't want to have to do everything and be like, well, does this offend, people with cardiac? Like, come on, man. It's a brotherhood. Y'all that sensitive? If you're that sensitive about things like that, then you probably shouldn't be watching this game. Like, we got people at every aspect. Like, if you want to honor people, we need to honor people consistently. Like, but the problem is a lot of you people put a level of expectation on your entertainers that you wouldn't even put on your own family members or the people who actually do things that actually affect your life. So I say this with all disrespect intended. Fuck you and your feelings. Because, like, get over yourself. I thought this shit was hilarious. I did not think. The first thing I thought when I saw that was not, oh my God. Oh my God. Think of Hamlin. Oh my God, I can't believe like they're no, and I'm sure they weren't thinking that. Show dark ass mind that went that far. That's the fucked up part. Is think about how dark your mind has to be for that to be the first place that you go.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, so again, so let's stop. Like, no, this man assaulted the person that he shouldn't have. But let's just chill on the first responders. Like, this motherfucker wasn't running into a burning building. And the guy's like pulled his hamstring. It wasn't like the guy was like over there convulsing and shit like that. So like, but on that note, Black Monday, we'll probably see more people get fired. The first Monday after the regular season in the NFL. It's not Black Monday because all the black coaches get fired on a Monday, but it does feel like it. And nobody is getting better and more efficient at firing black coaches than the Houston Texans. The Houston Texans did fire their in 1 year terms. Like, it's like the Lovie Smith just got fired. Yesterday, per Ian Rappaport, the Texans have fired Coach Lovie Smith, and after another one and done season in Houston. My man says, best believe I'm leaving here with something. Lovie Smith is a good coach. Houston is a fucked franchise.
Right.
Like, it's not going to work, man. Yeah. But yeah. Oh, yeah. It's a fun. That's the part that I'm wanting, right? Like, see, even his beard, so if you're listening to this on SoundCloud, he's got all gray or white. Excuse me, that's not gray, that's white. And then he's got a little bit of black where I don't know if that's his skin messed up or if that's just like he still has some remnants. But I don't want this salt and pepper shit. I want it all white or I want it all black. I don't want no in between. I want to be like Santa Claus or not Santa Claus. But yeah. Don't even know. Like, it's just man, these Florida State fans are wilding right now about this. I gotta get to this point. What time? How much time we at right now on the clock?
34.
Oh, sweet. We got plenty. We got time. Okay, going back. Did I already talk about Hamlin? Yeah, I already talked about Hamlin. The report: the Bills have worked out an agreement with the NFL and the NFLPA to pay safety Damar Hamlin his full contract, despite being placed on injured reserve. Oh, my bad. Before we get into this, the emotions of sports, though, and this is where I need people to understand the Steelers, right, and what happened, and the Damar Hamlin thing, and what happened, because I think somewhere in the process of social media and everybody having an opinion, we lost nuance, we lost context, we lost the idea that multiple things can be true at the same time, that you can run a full gamut of emotions, that I can want to kill somebody and want to fuck another person in a matter of minutes, that I can want to, that as a dad, I can want to beat the shit out of my child for trying me, but at the same time want to go kill nations for somebody trying my son. And nothing's more better than what Detroit Lions running back did. If you can go on that same thing, Miles, it's a Facebook thing. It's so great that I accidentally put it on the link twice. Then were we able to get it? Please tell me we. We're not able to get it.
Facebook's got it.
You know what? Then I'll make sure you can hear it. You don't need to see it. You can hear the emotion in the young man. Jamal Williams, his 17th rushing touchdown this season. I believe he broke the greatest running back of all time, Barry Sanders' record. I'm just going to play it. Y'all going to hear it. Oh, my bad. Hold on. No, I got to start this bad boy. This is too good. You hear that? Like, it makes you feel good about black fathers and shit. Like, a good impact. Man, snot bubbles coming out right now. But check this. That's what I'm talking about, dog. Did you hear that? Did you see how quick this? Like I'm saying, we are not humans. People, I know you guys see me on Sundays, right? And I'm in the suit. I'm doing my best Michael Strahan impersonation. I'm enunciating my words. You see these guys. We are all more like Michael Irvin than we are like them. Michael Irvin's nuts. Dude, you have to be slightly touched to be able to play this game at a high level. So that means we laugh at inappropriate shit. We do shit. We don't mean nothing by it. It's just us. This is who we are. It's who he is. It's why you love the game. You love the violence. You know you love the violence. And if you didn't, you'd be watching Tiddlywinks, Shoots and Ladders. You would not be watching men in tight-ass capri pants with plastic padding on and a helmet run full speed into each other in the most adverse elements out there while you're sitting in those adverse elements. Mind you, it was cold as fuck in Pittsburgh and in Detroit, in Green Bay and all these other different places. It's cold as fuck in Jacksonville. All I'm saying is that's why we love this game. We love this game because at one moment, something catastrophic could be happening or something life-changing could be happening, and you're overwhelmed and overcome with emotions. And then in an instant, you can flip it right back on.
JJ said that if you support if you cared about DeMar Hamlin, you wouldn't watch the NFL, and I think a lot of people are dealing with that.
Right.
They don't like feeling guilt or shame or that they might be a part of this violence, but I'm like, we're not perfect. Like,
I'm not even gonna. No,
need violence.
No, I'm not even gonna say that I don't care. Well, you know what? Fine. I mean, I didn't know who the fuck DeMar Hamlin was 2 weeks ago.
Right.
I'm not even gonna pretend. I'm happy for him. I'm happy he's alive. I would not want that on well, there's a lot of things I would like on my worst enemy, but I wouldn't want that on anybody in my family. I'm so grateful that people gave him his flowers to find out that he's a great person. But like a lot of times I get paid to talk about stuff. So I get paid to care. I have no idea how some of you people care so much about so many things that mean absolutely nothing to you and do it for free and manage to work another job. No clue how you do that shit. But like, the reality is, if you really cared about our long-term health, you wouldn't be watching. But if you didn't watch it, you wouldn't be able to get paid $4 million like to be in a hospital bed. You wouldn't be able to do these things. We wouldn't. I had somebody tell me one time when they were talking about Mayor Curry, who politics and shit, like politics is wild. It's a wild world. Like, you people really give a shit about things, and these people really don't give a fuck about your opinion. I promise you. Like, I get a chance to sit with some of these policymakers and talk to them like in some really cool ways. But like I always say, it's like Lenny Curry gives me money every year for my bookman job. Lenny Curry, all right for me. All right with me. And somebody was like, well, would he give you this if you weren't a football player? I don't know. I am who I am. I know other people know exactly who I am and didn't give it to me. Like, actually, to quote Lenny, what's the point of having powerful friends if you don't ever use the power? It's like Hulk. It's like it's like Trey saying, hey, my dad was this legend at Florida State, but never going on the sideline, never going to a game, never going to something. Like, what's the point? Why did you do it? But I will say this, man. It's got to be difficult. Like, it's some real fucked up shit in this world that's going on. That we got to really get to. But like, the point is that, guys, like, this man literally just showed you. He was boo crying, snot bubbles. Man, that's from granddaddy for what? If granddaddy didn't do that for me, I thought his granddad was like, was gonna be young too. I mean, like, this motherfucker 92, bro. What you expected? Granddaddy was about to go soon, dog. Like, but I do get it. At a certain point, these old people live so long that you just expect them to live forever. Yeah. So like, I get it, but like, damn, dog. It's kind of like 40-year-old virgin. Not 40-year-old virgin, excuse me. Talladega Nights, when the guy was like, what do I get my grandma for her 84th birthday? He said a coffin. Like, it was coming down. But he said that bitch like, my granddaddy, I did this for my granddaddy, but man, hey man, fuck Bad Boy as a staff, record label, and fuck the East Coast, fuck Chino XL, fuck Biggie, fuck Jay-Z, fuck Nas. Lil' Kim don't want to fuck with real G's, quit to snatch your ugly ass off the streets, so fuck peace. He went from that to that. I love this game, man. I'm sorry. I apologize, man. That makes you hate me and not listen. Cool. Drama for no reason is I don't know if I want to do this my hate o'clock or alpha male segment. I'm gonna make this my alpha male segment. No, I'm gonna make this my hate o'clock because Z and them are FSU fans. So hate o'clock brought to you by Green Acre Sporting Goods. Green Acre Sporting Goods is the go-to outdoor place to go to. You go to greenacresporting.com. You go check them out. Go into the place off of Normandy Boulevard here in Jacksonville. All the guns that you could possibly need, all the outdoor stuff. They got fishing equipment, boating equipment, bows and arrows, crossbows, rifles. They got every ammo that you need. Black powder, which that season is done. They got duck hunting season. All these other different things are coming up. Check them out. Safes. Go get your Second Amendment rights elevated this year by making sure you go to Green Acre Sporting Goods. They're not going to let you walk away with something that you don't need. They bring you hate o'clock each and every time we do this. Drama for no reason. Darrell Jackson is a young man who actually gave some book bags last year to be able to go do a book bag drive in his hometown of Quincy. I don't know where exactly, but he went to East Gaston High School, but basically it's Quincy, Florida, small town right outside of just west of Tallahassee. And he went to the University of Maryland out of high school, transferred to the University of Miami last year, has some family issues, I think a mom's sick, some things like that, decided that and upon entering the transfer portal, decided that he wanted to come to Florida State University to partner up with one of his teammates, Joshua Farmer, who played with him at East Gaston, but is a defensive tackle at Florida State. Darrell Jackson is a huge young man. I think he'll be a phenomenal piece to Florida State, from depth, and I think he can work himself into becoming a starter. He's been committed for quite some time. Well, there's some things that happen with his process. So one, he's transferred already. So the original transfer piece is done. Two, he signed an NIL deal down in Miami. So there's still some obligations that Miami has to have to fulfill with that, because NIL deals are not contingent upon you being at a university. Which is something that people always don't realize, but it is what it is. But also, if you follow me, you'll understand when I say a lying ass Cuban, I'm talking about two people. Lying ass Cuban could mean I want to call him Mario Cristobal, or lying ass Cuban could mean John Ruiz the other day for trying to sue a motherfucker for talking bad about him. I welcome it. There's so many things I want to learn in discovery about you, John Ruiz. Please, we will have a fucking field day, and we can afford it. We will go. I know some people who will go toe to toe just for the opportunity. Please do it, John. It's almost like a church call to worship. Please, won't you come? But anyways, he wants to come. Miami puts a little bit of pressure on him. He needs a waiver in order to play, and the waiver is a hardship waiver where they're going to talk about him needing to be close to home. And again, he's literally 30 minutes from his house is probably 30, 40 minutes from Doak Campbell. So Miami says they're not going to help with the waiver. They're not going to do a lot of the other different things. They upped the NIL money. So there was some up in the air smoke about Jackson and if he was going to come back to the University of Miami. Well, now all of that is done because his ass is enrolled in Florida State. So now he is officially a Florida State Seminole. But what guys have to understand is when shit like this happens, people are going to have opinions. I have opinions. I want you in or out. I don't care what you do as long as it's the best for you. But don't commit. And this is not like high school kids. High school kids, I get you commit. This is your third school, baby. Like, if you was trying to make the right decision because your mom's is sick, I 100% respect that. As a mama's boy, I 100% respect that. But nobody's going to push me off of that and tug on my heartstrings. If my mama's sick, my mama's sick. And I'm going to be honest with you. If you come at me and try to play with me and my money while my mama's sick, I'm going to say fuck you and everything you stand for. And you're going to have to show me one. And I know Mario and these guys put a lot of mob-type pressure on these kids, and they overwhelm guys, and they keep calling, and they keep trying to do stuff. They try to bully you into a commitment. But at a certain point, I tell kids, or I tell their parents in this recruiting process, if the kid can't be the bad guy, if you can't be the bad guy, let me be the bad guy. Let somebody else speak for you if you don't have the wherewithal to speak for yourself. But you're a man now. So I hope this is a learning experience. And don't lash out at the fans. A friend of mine, Dibby has a lot of controversial and bad takes, but he's a good person. Dibby's just like, man, make up your mind. And somebody told him, man, shut up, you don't know it. Like, he came at Dibby. And I'm like, at the end of the day, the energy you giving the fans for wanting you to make up your mind and stop waffling, you need to give to the people who are threatening you, basically strong-arming you. That's the problem, right? Don Draper, Mad Men, fictional character, one of the greatest bars in TV history. If you don't like what's being said about you, change the conversation. You dictate the terms in which people cover you from. People are talking about you because you're waffling. And this is your third school. Like, use the context. It's not that they're attacking you as a person. They're attacking the fruits and what you've put out there. Now, I hope you're going to become a phenomenal Seminole, and you'll have all my support and all my respect if you go out there and you earn it. But at the end of the day, that energy should have been to them lying ass fucking Cubans that tried to prevent you from doing what was the best from you and not looking at your situation, because the only reason they circled back is because they missed you. And then fuck y'all if what I heard was true. You tried to come and poach 4 of our guys. The nerve of you after getting your ass whooped 45-3. What can you possibly prove to us? Matter of fact, Miles, there's an email that I just sent to you. This is when it should have been over. It's not the, it's this, yeah, it's the, not that one, but like I just sent it to you. Yeah, it should be, yeah, that one link. I'm gonna be honest with you. Forget the fact that they tried to prevent you from coming home close to your sick mother. Forget the fact that they probably shorted you a little bit on your money. I'm not gonna get into your business like that. But this is when you should have known. And it was, actually, before we get into that, show that Money Talks. I mean that clip right here. Basically, this is when somebody posted saying this is what Mike showed Daryl Jackson with John Ruiz and that in that money. Yeah, so like in the movie, Chris Rock is lighting it up and saying, not Chris Rock, Chris Tucker, money's supposed to be blue and fake money is red. Like, so he was showing them that. But like, this is really when it should have been over in the set. It should have been over on in this clip, because you put this man in a lose-lose situation. Not only did he get his ass whooped live in 4K, you put this man in an impossible situation. Those who are listening, he's at D tackle right now. He's got a 1 technique, if I believe. And they have him guarding a running back in the wheel route. Lawrence Toafili. Like, this is when I would have realized that these people don't give a fuck about me and my well-being. This man never had a chance. They literally, and this is what's wild, as I respect Kevin Steele. Kevin, you didn't call this play. Somebody else called this play. I know for a fact Kevin Steele did not have a 6'6", 335-pound defensive tackle trying to guard a running back on a wheel route. At a certain point, like any child, forget the money, like the bet. Anybody, if you're a parent and you're seeing this, tell me how this is safe for your children. What is productive about that? What's NFL caliber about that? Not the kid, not the player. Like, what is that? When have you ever seen a D tackle cover a running back in the flat or on a wheel route? From the 1 technique.
I know that part too.
Not even at a defensive end. He did it from the 1. He's got run responsibility and he's got pass responsibility. And these are the people that y'all arguing with every day. Every fucking day we are sitting here arguing with people who are saying we're back, that we beat 45-3. People that are talking about, they're going to troll us because they got a better recruiting class. This is what parents, this is what you're sending your children to go do. That's not more talent. That's just a bad position. You put that guy in a terrible position. I come to the sideline after that and say, man, fuck you, coach. You don't care about me. Why would you do that? I'd be in tears like the dude was just, why would you do that to me, man? Could have pulled his hamstring. So many things could have gone wrong. The offensive linemen are sitting there like, hey, man, I know this motherfucker ain't covering. Jordan Travis was so confused. He was like, what the hell is that? Is that Josh Boy? That's not Farmer. That's Farmer. That's your home. Let me throw that thing right there, man. I'm just sorry. Like, that's something that you don't have to, I would never have to negatively recruit Miami as long as that plays in their playbook. Coach, defensive tackle comes in. Coach, watch Odell Higgins goes into somebody's house. Coach, why should I pick you over the University of Miami? Roll that wonderful bean footage, please. No, my bad. I did it too quick. Just show, like, there we go. Like, Coach, why should I pick you over Florida State? Here you go, son. Watch this. Son, this is Odell, how Odell says, son, listen, son. Hey, check, listen. Hey, I care about my D tackles. Ask Travis. Ask Trap. I would never, ever put you in a situation where you're going to have to cover the running back in the flat or on the wheel route, son. That's just stupid. I can promise you that. ADO, attention, don't offsides, but you'll never, ever have to cover a running back on a wheel route. That's what he told Daryl Jackson. And I bet Daryl was crying in tears because he's so grateful that he'll never have to do this again. Oh, man. Oh, this is just the wildest shit in the world to me, man. Like, but yeah, just chill out with the drama for no reason though. For that things, but appreciate everything that appreciate him being on board. Shout out to Jamie Robinson getting his combine invite. Now, for the last thing, still spilling over, and I'm gonna get just alpha male clinic Jax right here. One of the things that I loved and what made me so machismo and tough back in the 90s is like gangster rap. Okay. Nothing was better than it. Oh, it was so brazen. Especially like the late 90s, like 95, like really 95 to like 2003 is really when I was coming into my own. And nothing was shaping me more as a kid who was basically from a family that's a transplant from the Northeast than New Jersey rap, which Redman's one of my favorite rappers, and New York rap. With Redman was with EPMD, Eric and Parrish making dollars. They had Keith Murray. They had a lot of cats. Def Jam had the El Nino project that came out. Like, they just signed everybody. DMX was coming out hard. One of the things really fucking with me right now, though, is the podcast scene. I love getting the back. Yeah, I want that one right there, bitch. Background information on everything that's going on. But I'm going to say this. All these motherfuckers lied. And for the first time in my life, I blame rap music. First time. Well, you know, people say, I think personal responsibility comes into a lot of this stuff. But like when I'm looking at the caddy culture, snitching, all this other BS, I look at this. And I also look at these guys as they're coked out and there's something wrong with them and they're elite liars. Like, before we get into this, because Jadakiss is an elite liar too. But this is why I'm hurt. This is why I'm hurt. I'm really not hurt by Keith Murray. Yeah. Keith Murray's just, somebody needs to give him a hug and bring him in. But this lock shit really fucked with me yesterday, man. I'm really distraught about this. But go to Keith Murray, and Keith Murray has been going on this rampage about one. I will say this. Art is indicative and relative of life. Keith Murray is the other one. He looks really, really bad. Like the Harlem Shake video, right? Nah, that's not it's the actual tweet. That one. That's Keith Murray. All right. So Keith Murray, the most beautifulest thing in this world. Very good lyricist. But Keith Murray went on this, I think it's called The Art of Dialogue, which is a really good podcast. I like the way the camera films it, but it doesn't do very much for his skin because he was actually light skinned. Keith Murray's been definitely been on drugs, been on these different things. And he reminds me of Northern uncles. They tell lies. If they're from up north, they're from New York, New Jersey, they're lying, man. I'm sorry, they're lying. They're telling something. But like, they tell these stories and they're so animated. There's so much bravado. He's talking about all these women that he's had fellatio with. He hasn't fucked one of them. He hasn't talked about fucking any of them. He's talking about just giving head eating a pussy, doing all this other stuff. But it reminds me of just how, I don't know if it's because of the snow, but like I know in Florida, even during a hurricane, you could drive from point A to point B. When it snows, I know you can't really do anything. So maybe you be locked in there with your thoughts and it's just really weird and dark. But just this is just one snippet. He's talked about Foxy Brown. He's talking about everybody, but he talked about Shauna, who was part of DTP, made this song Getting Some Head. And people were like, oh, this is cool. But push play. This is the part that tripped me out. Like he's telling this nasty story, and it just says, "His father is a musician, right?"
God. Oh my God.
Like, I just like. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, can you cancel Keith Murray? Like, it's already canceled. Like, what the fuck is this gonna do anything? But like, it's just, and then Shauna comes out, and Shauna was minding her own business. And I'm not even gonna lie to you. I had forgot who the fuck she was. But now I saw her IG and she's bad. She's aging very, very well. But like what was so important? Like, why did we need to know this, Keith? Like, what does this have to do with your career and the money that you've made? Oh, there was no sound on that video. It was probably better that there was no sound on the video, guys. I'm just going to actually, you know what? Forget it. Push pause. The fact that there was no sound on the video makes it better because just know that anybody who moves like that when they're telling you a story is automatically lying. Just so for my people who are of age, who have partaked in adult activities, none of those movements look like what would naturally happen in having sex. Like not one of the movements, none of that looked enjoyable for the man, let alone the woman. Right. So he's talked about Shauna. He's talked about Foxy Brown. He's talked about a lot of stuff. And Shauna's just like, man, I ain't never met Keith Murray, which is one of the, we used to say, lie on your dick, you lose an inch. And so this man is over here telling elite lies on his dick. And we're looking at Keith Murray and we're like, yo, you not LL, bro.
Right.
No homo. Isn't that what they said? No homo. But you not like, you were never considered like a lover boy rapper. You weren't Drake. But I don't like this path that these guys are coming. Tell me the wild stories on the road, but I don't want to know about Kiss and Tell. He talks about Superhead. He talks, which, you know, who knows? Superhead seemed like she was given. If you get a nickname like Superhead, then, you know,
yeah,
it is what it is. Like, that's one of the things. That was the first time I told women, like, yo, y'all got to be careful. Like, this OnlyFans shit. Like, your kid, like, again, realize your sons are going to watch motherfuckers like Keith Murray. This is who these people are getting raised by. So, you've been messing with some of these rappers. In 10 years, they're going to be on a podcast talking about what you did, and your son's going to be in somebody's locker room, and now you're not going to be able to live that down. But I do think he's too much of a chatty patty. I think this is unbecoming of a man and of a goon and of a respected rapper. Though Keith did not do the numbers, Keith was dope. But this was more funny and sad. It's like laughing at your crackhead uncle. Hopefully they get him some help. But this right here, though, makes me mad. This next one just really makes me mad because I really fuck with D-Block, man. Like, I really fuck with D-Block. And I'm mad for all the wrong reasons, though, Miles. I'm mad that this man had a father. He had good influences, man. He had every fucking opportunity that I'll kill for. Like, fuck it, push play, man. You're just not gonna believe me. This man had a father, first and foremost. But it's just wild, like how involved this father was. Watch how he adores this man.
Parental guidance that we won't ever be having, and a decision that big. That's crazy.
Well, to that point, you know, since he became a father, he just came to appreciate growing up in a 2-parent household. Actually, it was a label that he didn't really want to talk about because it wasn't street. And he didn't tell you he went to private school, and we had.
No, that wasn't it, nigga. I didn't hear it in there.
I don't know. That ain't want to put me in the subject.
Wait a minute. So let me just put this in, because then Kiss goes and snitches on the rest of D Block. It wasn't just me. Styles and Sheik went to the school too. So you mean to tell me all y'all went to private school in New York in the early 90s when it cost it was $20K then a year to go. This man's dad's been selling coffee since the 80s, man. Like, if you listen to the interview, which it is incredible, right? It's dope. It's great to see a black father be involved, and you can see how he can actually impact his son. But imagine Sheik was rapping about what his dad was doing with coffee, but with Coke. Like, his dad was internationally shipping coffee. Like, he was buying the unfiltered product, man. He was buying the green Arabica beans and selling them to he was wholesale. He was the distro. Jada's dad was the plug when it comes to coffee. Your dad, you had fucking Heathcliff Huxtable without the raping. And you decided to become one of the most gangsterous rap groups, and nobody did their research? I thought Yonkers was crazy. I thought these guys was like, hold on, man. Let me see if I can find Jada Kiss's freestyle. But it was an old freestyle, the freestyle from Versus. Because all I'm seeing is, when I'm watching this, I am seeing the verses of the Locks versus Dipset and how they completely crushed them by being the most hood street unit ever.
Right.
You gotta have a lyric somewhere. Because he did it to Who Shot You, one of Biggie's like greatest. I've been smacking these rappers around for a decade, still trying to get mommy to sacame la leche. Know if I take her out, I could pop her the next day. The Black Mama of vocals, MJ of Pro Tools, Antisocial, Phil Jack on the track, but I can't coach you. This is just audio of the shit that I go through. This is just the audio of the shit that I go through. Guns in the couch, money in the mattress, and I would have got the Bentley, but I had to pay the taxes. Settle for the polo fit and some Air Maxes. Your flow's a light sprain. Mine's is a fracture. I got stocks in the block and I'm giving out shares to the blanks that don't talk because they're giving out them years. I don't know you. You ain't familiar. And I don't care who shot you because they ain't kill you. You grew up in the suburbs. Why? Why? Why couldn't you just rap about having a daddy? Who knows? You wouldn't have made the millions, but who knows the impact that you would have had on the thousands of boys that wish that they had you. Some of us was coming up praying for what you had. This is why I tell people, on God, I'm gonna slap the shit out of my sons, and I'm making diss tracks if I ever hear them rapping about being in the projects.
Styles P did serve some time.
Styles P, they talk about it, but they don't. Okay,
He stabbed a man in the butt.
But let me tell you, but hold on. He talks about it though. He said P because the prison was like right across where the jail was across the street from the school they went to. It wasn't far. He said P went for a semester for like a couple of years. This motherfucker went to college, dog. His daddy,
He went for 8 months.
His daddy paid for him to go to college. That means he had the grades. That means he had the funds. I'm talking about no financial aid. They shipped him to Memphis State because his dad's from Memphis. Oh my God, man. This is what should have happened. And that's just what I'm mad at Cameron about. You should have done your research. Because this is what you should have came on stage with. But I know something about you. You went to Cranbrook. That's a private school. What's the matter, dog? You embarrassed? This guy's a gangster. His real name is Clarence. And Clarence lives at home with both parents. And Clarence's parents have a real good marriage. This guy don't want to battle. He's shook because ain't no such thing as halfway crooks. The problem I have is we in the 90s, everything was talking about keeping it real. And it's built upon an industry that is about killing each other and promoting the emphasis of keeping it real. So you have drill rap. These young men are going around thinking that y'all live these raps. And they're trying to live their raps and trying to do more things over the top than what y'all did. Meanwhile, y'all were some of the most gifted, educated, with opportunity. Like the reason why they had a... When did you have time to sell drugs at private school? Your parents said, you said they had a contract out of high school. His dad hired an entertainment lawyer that would not let them sign it, so they waited until they were 18, and then they signed a bad contract. This is what's important, man. You could have made some, and there's nothing wrong with the rap. I love it. I love the entertainment. It's just what I don't like is the fact that people didn't portray this when it came out like when I was growing up. You should have said that basically this is nothing more than TVs and movies. I used to tell people this. Having grown up in the hood and understood what rapping is. Rapping is dictating your life. It's an oral history, which if you are in streets, that's basically you're snitching because you're telling on yourself about what you did.
Right.
And I also understand economics. You can't be Poppy. You can't be the plug and then just walk away because you're losing people money. And the only reason that people walk away, they start believing that you're doing something, you're turning state. But I just think about the story in which he has right now, where you see a father who poured into his son to become what he wanted to be. That's the issue. Now I'm glad that it's being painted that way now. And I appreciate it. I love the coffee company that they're doing this, a multi-generational thing, things that we don't see. But in a world where they've told us that Black fathers don't exist, you had a phenomenal father. You found the block didn't find you, but you rap as a guy who is of it and born in it.
That's another problem, though. There are people who go, I went to college with some guys who are still in jail now for robbing a bank, and they were in college.
Like, I don't like, so that's a different thing. It doesn't mean because you grew up in a 2-parent home that you're going to be like this straight and narrow guy. Like we see those stories all the time, but he portrayed as if he grew up poor, hard, and rugged when it was the complete opposite.
And didn't show enough love to the people who put him in a good position.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If you look, and before people say it can't get done, I know we're going crazy now, but fuck it. Kanye showed us that it could be done. Kanye didn't rap on no gangster shit. Kanye rapped like a lame nerd from Chicago that grew up in the hood, but it's not a hood dude. We see it with Chance the Rapper. We see it with so many people. Even during that time, you had Black Eyed Peas who ended up coming up. You had oh man, I can't even think of that name. Common was big then. Lupe came a little bit like right after them. man, I can't think I can't even think of the group's name right now. They're from up north too. Stakes is high. You know the stakes is high when you're living with the rock. Anyway, it's cats that was out here. I'm not saying you had to be conscious Koofy rap. Shit, be Nas. At least we knew Nas was a storyteller. And we knew he was like, but he had, and I'm not even suggesting that you gotta be soft, but like, guys, come on, man. Like, it just could have been so much different. It's just disappointing because it's Jadakiss, man.
Yeah, that hurts a little bit. I ain't gonna front.
I'm like the Dow Jones of rap. My stocks is high, and it never was all love. So stop the lies. Motherfuckers will blow your brains out and watch you bleed. The same dudes that you trust, let them watch you see. It's just J to the twa. Everything you got in your living room, I got in my car except for the bar. I got to put a little money away because you know they say tomorrow I ain't promised today. It's either bubbling or struggling. Nothing between. Don't have a grimy dude like me fucking your queen. It's just like, it's just, He was so crazy. He's so hard. The hardest rappers are either telling elite lies or have drug problems. That's what I'm learning from this. Just keep it real, man. It don't cost a buck. It don't cost you a lot to keep it real, man. Lives could be saved. The people could be doing things differently, man. But anyways, man, we've gone long. I appreciate you guys for coming up with me. Jags in the playoffs, baby. We got a lot of stuff. College football national championship coming up. We'll break that down on Wednesday. I think the Bulldogs will beat TCU, but hopefully TCU wins because my guy Earl Hodges has an MFTK cap that I told him he's got to put on the national championship banner if they trophy if they win. So on this note, I just want to make sure everybody realizes don't trust lying ass Cubans, and see you guys next time.